I'm here at one of the greatest golf clubs in the history of golf clubs, the Albert Kahn designed Detroit Golf Club, about 100 years old now. And I'm not quite that old, and fortunately I'm talking with a younger guy here who is John Gates, is the head golf professional here at Detroit Golf Club, and he's got a lot on his plate coming up with the Rocket Man championship next year from Dan Gilbert's company, and we're going to have the PGA Tour back inside of 8 Mile Road and having a great time. Let's talk about what you've got coming up with this PGA Tour stop here next year.
Yeah, it's a real exciting time here at the Detroit Golf Club. Rocket Mortgage Classic scheduled to be hosted here at the end of June. 4-day PGA Tour event. We have a 4-year contract. Looking forward to a great field. Really excited about it. We've been talking to the tour since 2007. Had a lot of close calls just a couple years ago with our Ricky Fowler and Rory McIlroy nighttime golf. We thought that was going to happen, and that kind of got pulled at the end. But this is just a great event, and everyone here.
Well, I think Ricky will be here.
I would hazard to guess that. Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing. I think we'll sell some Puma clothing that week.
Well, I like it. I have a lot of their shoes.
Right.
And it's nice that the tour is coming back here, where Horton Smith was the golf course professional for so many years after winning 2 Masters, the first and the third Masters tournaments. And George Bear is another great pro who is here as the professional. And you had long-hitting John Traub, and you've had a lot of.
And you're missing 2 major champions. Alex Ross, Donald's brother, won the United States Open, and Walter Berkemo won the PGA Championship.
Right. Well, and Walter was hometown guy.
Correct. Yeah.
And we had, even Chick Harbert, who was basically a Michigander, won the PGA Championship too. Yeah. So what have you got? How is the course going to change for the?
There's not a lot of change that's going to happen. We're playing 17 of the north holes. The only change is we'll play number 1 south a little bit longer. The tour felt that on 1 north they could overdrive the green, and there's out of bounds over. So we're going to play 1 south, and then 2 north will have a new tee where they'll hit over 1 north fairway, make it a little bit longer, just over 600 yards, but a beautiful sight line. And we're going to add about, I think it's 3 other tees on. We'll lengthen 5. We're going to lengthen 14, where we'll go down into 13 south fairway a little bit. And then we're adding a new tee at 16 and then a new tee at 18 to get the overall yardage at about 7,300, a little bit more than that.
Well, that's terrific. From my early days of covering golf at the Free Press and coming out here was a little bit different. And we had some good tournaments out here at the Michigan Stroke Play Championship, the Horton Smith tournament, and John Grace won the. Not John didn't win it. Danny Yates won.
Danny Yates, yeah.
Won the mid-amateur.
National mid-am. Yeah.
And John Grace was the medalist.
Yeah.
Of that one.
So, and of course, we host the Horton Smith Championship every spring. We kind of call that our Michigan Masters. That's an invitational event. We play about 93 players based on previous year's performance in amateur events throughout the state of Michigan, and USGA also events that if they play well enough, they get an invitation. It's a real neat event because one thing that's really nice that we've been seeing in the last few years is a lot of the younger players, the high school kids, the college kids, are kind of intermingling more with the veterans that are used to coming every year. And it's great to see them come for our dinner after the first round. We have a dinner upstairs for everybody, and they intermix with the older players, and it's a great tradition to have.
Well, it's when they come out, it's neat to see the bag out where the bags are all, every college in the country, it seems like.
Yeah, it's we got some great programs here in the state, and our defending champion Connor Jones just finished up at Oakland University, so previous champion Jimmy Chestnut played at Michigan State. So,
Well, and you've always had a good caddy program here.
yeah, we have well over 100 caddies, and it's a really a rewarding program here. Most of our kids have to take a couple transits to get here, so there's a couple changes of buses, and to see them really get excited about their opportunity to learn something new and learn from our wonderful members here at the club that can really teach them lifelong skills.
Well, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, Steve Jokic was a caddy here,
Yeah.
the UAW president, and he loved golf so much that he came up with that terrific course up there at Black Lake.
Yeah, what's really neat about our program, and it happens, it's got to be north of 20 times a year. Somebody will come in, whether it's on a Monday outing or they'll make a phone call. You know, I caddied there. Can I just come out and look? And they tell stories. Our caddy house is our caddy shack is the same original one, and they come out and they relive their memories of their childhood. It's really neat to hear them say that. Yeah, I caddied and
Well, it's
for 25 cents plus a nickel tip, doing doubles.
Well, it's nice that still is a factor. So much when the carts came in, why caddies, it was goodbye caddies. But
Yeah, and it's a struggle. I mean, your financial well-being of your facility over the tradition of the game, and it's a juggling act.
now they're doing some work on the greens and getting the golf course ready, and you have some pretty popular golf course architects involved, including a local fellow.
Yes, we do. Bruce Hepner is our golf course architect and has been doing the restoration to both the north and the south courses over the last 5-6 years. We do have the tees that are being built right now. He's also overseeing any of the new tees that have come in. One of the things, too, that we are adding this year along with the new tees to the course is where the practice facility will be. And we're going to use number 4 and number 10 south, where it'll be a beautiful amphitheater with a hill there behind so people can watch and be able to use those fairways as their target. But Bruce came in, he was hired about 17, 18 years ago as our club architect, and like I said, the north course was done, that was probably about 5 years ago, where a lot of the study from the original tour visits, they wanted our bunkers to be redone, and he redid the bunkers, added new tees. We added forward tees to our new north course, which is a great tee because we're now at 5,700 yards as our shortest, as opposed to just over 6,200 yards. So that's helped play quite a bit. And then he's done just a wonderful job on our south course, which everybody always wants to talk about our north course because it's the championship course, the longer course. It's where our tournament's going to be. But our south course, except for the first green, is almost an all-original Ross course. And he's done just a wonderful job restoring that golf course to how Ross had it.
Well, it's like Oakland Hills, only the opposite, the south and north course.
Exactly.
And golf courses get a little bit older, like me, and when they're getting up around 100 years old, why they go in for getting them fixed up, getting some new parts to replace the ones that have worn out, and a lot of trees go out. We've had Meadowbrook just closed for a year and then reopened. Oakland Hills is going into it. Birmingham's been into it. Several other of the other clubs around the city have made the big change.
And I think what you see in these restorations, well, Meadowbrook was a complete redo, but where the original architects would maybe have bunkers in the fairways or cross bunkers, if you will, where the drives would end up, well, that certainly has changed. So the modern architect has to take into account where today's player is hitting the golf ball, and it is really,
a lot farther.
yeah. I saw one going on one south. He was building a new bunker that Ross had in there, and I'm going, oh boy, that's right in my driving zone. And then I go out there, no, I can't.
Gone.
I can't hit it that far. So I was okay there.
And a few of the trees went out too.
Well, you know what's interesting about our property, and probably a lot of traditional facilities, when I have an aerial photo from 1930. and there were like no trees here.
Oakland Hills, the same thing.
The only trees really were, here on the front nine of the north were the big trees, but the south course had very few trees. It was really like a link-style golf course. And through the years, the fad was you have to put trees in. You got to have the growth. And then that changed, and now the fad is to go back to original type golf courses.
Which the architects love because they've got air and sunlight and the grass grows.
Correct, exactly. And the vistas. I know that's the comments we hear of, when we've done this pruning of our forest, if you will, or managing the forest, is the vistas that you have. You can see different parts of the golf course. When we first eliminated some evergreens, some big evergreens behind 13 North, people are coming up 13 Fairway and they see the clubhouse that they never knew you could see the clubhouse because those pine trees are gone.
Well, that has been very popular. I think every place once they're out of there, why people are appreciating the property a lot more.
Correct. Yeah.
And how fast are these greens going to be in the future?
That's a hard question. I don't think one thing great about the tour is they want their players to be entertainers, and they're not going to want them to struggle for pars. They're going to want red numbers. It's one of the reasons we're playing it as par 72 instead of maybe shorten a couple of the 5 pars to 4. More red numbers, more excitement.
Right.
We get some of these greens too fast, you lose pinnable locations. And you have to have 4-hole locations for 4 rounds of golf. So, they have a standard, and I would guess it'll be in the standard that they have week to week.
Well, I think that's been had been the problem is the greens originally weren't that big, and now the way the game is, you need bigger greens.
Yeah, because of the slopes where you could have a green. Our number 18 South green, is basically unputtable. It's if you got it to 12, it'd be unputtable.
Yeah.
And when that was developed, when Donald Ross built that golf course, what were speeds? Maybe 7, 6.
Right.
So you could putt those.
Yeah.
But today, you have to be very careful.
So now it's more. What is it? Not even a year away.
Yeah.
So what do you do between now and then? What kind of jobs?
Right now they're still determining where the volunteers are going to come from. We'll probably be involved in that. We'll probably be involved in the practice facility. We'll be involved in some merchandising of the event. So we're just getting all that organized. We talk. I see the Intersport people weekly. They're here, and we just kind of bounce ideas back and forth. And I think it'll be a lot of work this winter.
Well, we used to kid that Palmer Park was your east course. Is that going to factor into the tournament at all?
That I don't know. Obviously parking wise. Logical to use the fairgrounds, and we can also use the University of Detroit, which we have an easement at the southwest corner of our property where we could bring people in from there. But the city may elect to park on this 9 that's closed. Well, they're both closed now. Interesting fact about this land across the street: there is a herd of deer in there.
No.
And the other day they were
Okay.
$5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Are they safe?
they're safe. Yeah.
We've been talking with John Gates, who's the golf professional here at Detroit Golf Club, a historic course and club that's about 100 years old. Is that right?
Actually, clubhouse is 100 years. We started in 1899.
Yeah.
So the clubhouse is 100 years this year.
Well, now they're going to add to the wonderful history of the club with the golf tournament, the tour event here next summer.